So and that's a good segue into the next pillar of your data management strategy is organizational, right? It's getting the right people identified and in place. So when you're starting to form a governance organization, start small. And the first thing that they should be figuring out is, okay, based off the scope of our data management strategy and the business problems we're trying to solve, what people do we need to get engaged and bought into this and as a part of both the governance process, but also accountable. You might need to find people in the organization that are responsible for stewardship. It's about finding those people within the organization and making sure that they understand and accept that responsibility and are willing to be held accountable for it. So getting the right people at the table, not just from a governance perspective, but also from a accountability and stewardship and ownership perspective, that's really the first task of a governance function within the organization.
Yeah, and I definitely think when you're going across the organization, you really want to, that's the benefit of having those stakeholders up front, is because if you find the people that are actually using that data, if you can get them to buy in that having better data makes their jobs easier, then those are your best data stewards, right? I've been in probably half the projects we deal with, you end up where somebody's actually hiring new data stewards to manage the data, and the problem is that person, while it's fine, you can make that as a role and stuff like that, that person doesn't really know that data, right? I mean, they can get better at it and they'll get better at it over time, but they're really not invested in it. And they're not going to actually see how that works. So if the business hasn't invested in that data, then you really are missing a lot of rewards. And if you can spread that information out, and this will get into tooling later, it's where each person can manage a small subsection of the data, then it should become a small portion of their job, but it should be very valuable and enriching to helping them use that data better, but also they can apply their experience with the underlying assets that they're managing, as opposed to hiring somebody where it's just words, right? And they don't really have any idea that that person is anything but a customer and that it's real.
Right, and the most, kind of the worst symptom I'll see, when people take a technology MDM for the sake of it approach, that's IT first, as you hear this all the time, and it's kind of funny in a very tragic way. So say, yeah, we're in production, but we have no data stewards. It's like, well, okay, if you have no data stewards, you're not really doing data management properly, right? You might be, the system might be helping usher some data around and improve it in some way, shape, or form on an automated basis, but the biggest symptom of not getting the right people in place up front and having those conversations and getting people bought in is that, yeah, we don't have any data stewards issue that some organizations struggle with.
Right. If you look at MDM as a project, then you're going to get it clean, right? You're going to get to a better state. But if you don't have a process to keep it clean and really have buy-in by the people that really care about it, then in the long run, you're going to have the same project again, where you're going to be like, wait, the data's dirty, and that MDM solution didn't solve my problem.
Yeah. Well, the data stewardship organization is often already in existence, right? You can ask a very simple question. How are you doing this today?
Right.
And there's often a backstory, or there's some informal processes and people out there just getting the job done, doing the business each day. Then we look to leverage them in our projects, and obviously with the new technology and a new set of approach, we're really looking for them to get more productive and be able to do more with their time. So understanding that delineation between who's using the data and who's furnishing the system, who's implementing that solution for them, which largely is driven by IT, but it's very much a collaborative thing. And the other role I don't want to forget in an organization is the subject matter expertise. Like you said, you can have your data stewards who are working with the data day to day, but they aren't often the ones leading the charge. They're focused very much on operational performance. They've got a widget to ship, or they've got a customer to invoice. But really that subject matter expertise comes from team leads, business leaders, VPs of operations, a CMO. They're going to come to the table with, here's my problem, here's what I'm trying to solve. And they're a key part of that organization. They have to remain involved is a key thing that I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when you spread out the workload across the thing, there has to be somebody that's going to look at the entire solution in aggregate, right? Mm-hmm. And that's really what you're getting with the subject matter expert. I agree. Definitely important.